Hey there. Welcome to Love on the Pod, a podcast about all the cheesy romantic TV movies we adore. I'm Sherry,
I'm Danny.
And I'm Jessica.
and this is episode 29 already of Love on the Pod. And today we're discussing TV movies based on Charles Dickens' classic Christmas Carol, which there are many, many. Some good, some not so great, which we'll dive into today. Some are cheesy classics that not everybody loves, but
some you purposely pick because they're wild and weird.
Absolutely. So who would like to go first on this one? This very holiday festive episode.
I can.
Okay.
Let me just pull up my notes here. Here we go. Okay. We're going to kick it off with a bang here, guys. And we are going to talk about Ebenezer, which is a Hallmark movie that was released in 1998. If you haven't heard of it, neither had I. But I found it on a list of movies based on A Christmas Carol, and I just went with my heart. So this movie stars Jack Palance, who I know from City Slickers with Billy Crystal, but also he did a ton of other movies like Bram Stoker's Dracula and Baghdad Cafe. He's a very well-known actor. He's also the voice of Sir Rothbard in my personal favorite animated film, Swan Princess.
I love
yes.
that movie.
So he plays a very good bad guy. That's kind of what he was known for in his career. He sadly passed away now. But yeah. And so the second person starring in this movie is Ricky Schroeder, who's best known for his runs on Silver Spoons. And then later in his career, he had a run on NYPD Blue. This movie,
I believe he goes by Rick Schroeder now.
Oh, has he gone back to Rick? I know he went Ricky to Rick and then back to Ricky, so I wasn't sure where he was at right now.
Oh, maybe he's Ricky again. Okay.
Yeah, the Lawrence brothers were talking about this, how like a lot of kid actors during that time decided to change their name. They were talking to Brian Austin Green about it, and he was saying, oh yeah, I dropped my middle name for a little while to try and break out of 90210 and sound more adult, and it didn't work. So then I went back to my regular name. And I think Ricky Schroeder may have done the same thing. Because they specifically talked about him. Joey Lawrence said, oh yeah, I went by Joseph for a couple of years and then changed it back. So
that's right. He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you get well known as one name, stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't like change.
Yeah. People still know who you are. They see your face. They recognize you. It's not like you're tricking anybody.
Oh, he's grown up now because he took the Y off of his name.
Yeah. So the synopsis of this movie is that it's a Wild West retelling of Dickens' A Christmas Carol, with Scrooge as a land baron, gunfighter, and card cheat who is visited by three spirits who attempt to teach him the true meaning of Christmas. Now, this film was filmed in Alberta, Canada, Calgary, at CL Ranch. And although our listeners cannot see this ranch, we can put photos and stories, and I would like to show you guys because it is really cool. This is the CL Western Town and Backlot where they filmed this movie, and it's so cool. The exterior and interior buildings are fully decked out. They have these gorgeous scenic views, and then all of the set deck and everything that you would need to film a Western on this property. It's also a classic ranch too. They have cattle there and they do all that stuff, but this is the other side of their ranch, and they use it specifically for filming movies. So I thought that was really cool.
And it's still running today.
Yep. This is the current website.
It's very Little House on the Prairie.
Yes.
Where is this?
Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
That is beautiful.
Yeah. Isn't it cool? So
it looks very familiar to me, and I'm trying to figure out if there's another movie I've seen that was filmed there.
The credit list, The Last of Us, they've been filming that there. I don't know if you've seen that. Probably not, because it's creepy and gross. Tons of stuff. Winona
Yeah.
Earp is that TV series that was on for several years. Like, yeah, tons and
Fargo?
tons. Fargo's on there?
Interesting. Fargo,
Cool.
the series. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Yeah.
that movie,
Wow.
Lonesome Dove?
Terror on the Prairie. Have you guys seen that?
No. What is that
Never heard of
about?
that one.
It came out in 2022. It's got Gina Carano in it. It's a pretty good movie, but it looks like that set. I mean, a Western is a Western, right? It could have been a lot of different ranches, but
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it was filmed there.
We visited a Western backlot, Danny and I and our other two sisters in June. It was much smaller than this
Yes.
place, but they do film movies and TV shows there. It's
Yeah,
called
Pioneer Town.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Was that
Joshua
Palm Springs?
Tree.
Or
Yeah,
Palm
it's
Springs adjacent?
Yeah, Palm Springs adjacent. Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was
Yeah.
fun. It was really cool.
Yeah. Yep. And the thing that was different about that place is that they had businesses running in all the buildings. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's not just a backlot, it's also like a tourist attraction, which is cool.
It's like a big saloon, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was really fun. It's a very
Yep.
cool place.
Okay, so I want to share a little fun fact about this film. So in the TV movie Dear Santa, which I think all three of us have seen. Have you guys seen that movie?
No,
You haven't?
no.
I should have written down who the main character is, but she finds a Santa letter from a little girl who's wishing that her dad had a wife. And so
Aw.
she decides to go and track down this family and meet them and see if she can become their wife or his wife. And it sounds like a weird, creepy plot, but it's actually
Amy Acker.
Yes, Amy Acker. Yeah. And it's very good. But
Sounds
I
weird,
love
but
that,
I'll give it a
except for
try.
this, except for the scene where he brings his Casio to the hospital.
brings his
Like,
And
Casio.
he's, yeah, is that the same one I'm thinking of? Oh, no, maybe not. No, I'm thinking of a different one where she's an
13 going
angel.
on 30 when Maddie brings out his
No.
Casio.
No, he brings it. It's a different movie altogether. Sorry. He brings a Casio to the hospital and tries to bring this gal out of her coma with this terrible song.
The Casio.
Oh, no, that's not this movie, but now I'm very interested to know what that is.
I'll have to figure out what that one's called.
Anyways, so I do highly recommend Dear Santa. It's very cute. I've seen it lots of times. But when the male character, Derek, arrives home after leaving Crystal, who's the female lead, to babysit the daughter, Olivia, the film showing on the TV is Ebenezer.
Interesting.
They're watching it. So a little meta reference for Hallmark because they're putting a Hallmark movie inside a Hallmark movie.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
I don't have a ton to say about this movie. But
I didn't watch it.
But
I didn't either.
Dang it. Well, let me share a review with you guys. Okay? I have a feeling that people who trash this movie are doing so out of a deep-seated love for the Alastair Sim classic and a refusal to enjoy any other version. This is an interesting adaptation and worth watching. I especially enjoy the fact that the story continues with Scrooge's transformation, showing how people deal with an overnight change in someone they have long feared and stopped trusting. Hey, I like the 1951 version too. Watch them both for Christmas. So,
okay.
There actually weren't a lot of really bad reviews for this movie. I think it's just a very different retelling because obviously it's a Western. And so it's a lot more violent. There's gunslinging, there's stealing, there's fights, there's that kind of stuff. But, and it's definitely a more masculine adaptation, but I could see Bumpa, our grandpa, liking this movie a lot. He's a fan of A Christmas Carol and he's also a fan of Westerns. So I could see him loving this film. Jack Palance is a great actor. He's great at playing a bad guy. And I'm going to pass on watching it again, but I'm not mad that I watched it once. So.
Okay. Well, now I want to watch it. I didn't have time to watch it this week and I want to watch it now. So yeah. Thank you for that review.
You're welcome. You can find it on YouTube. It's a very grainy version of this film on YouTube.
I can't handle that. I have such a hard time when it's a grainy version
Yeah.
There are some movies I will push through it for, but because my husband is insane and bought the world's biggest TV, if I put on a grainy YouTube movie, it looks even worse on that TV.
Oh,
And I just
yeah.
cannot.
Well, watch it on your laptop.
There you go. On my phone.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
The sound isn't off or anything. It doesn't sound terrible. It's from 98. So it's, they haven't put this on Hallmark Plus, nor do I expect that they ever will. So,
Okay.
okay. So that was my first pick.
Yeah, I want to watch it. I ran out of time this week, so I'll check it out. I love a good adaptation of Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you have for us, Danny?
Okay, my first pick this week is one that I actually watched last year and absolutely loved. It came out in 2022 and it is called Ghosts of Christmas Always. This movie is about Catherine, who is the ghost of Christmas present. She's on a mission with her team to Scrooge a man who seems to have lost his Christmas spirit. While these are usually open and shut cases, this year there is a strange twist and a surprising connection that throws everyone for a bit of a loop. So this movie is really fun because it's like a different take on the whole Scrooge idea. They have this like whole office, right? Where there's all these different teams that are comprised of 3 people, the ghost of Christmas past, Christmas present, Christmas future, and they get their Scrooge cases at the, beginning of the Christmas season or a year in advance. They get their cases and then they study these people and they go 2 days before Christmas to give them an extra day and they Scrooge them and bring them Christmas spirit, right? So I thought that was really cute how it turned it into like this whole kind of occupation after people, and all of the people that are in these roles have died on Christmas. And so it's really interesting, really fun take. This one is starring Kim Matula, who plays Catherine. She is known as Hope on The Bold and the Beautiful. She was on from 2010 to 2016. And it's also starring Ian Harding, who we love. He plays Peter Barron. He was also Ezra Fitz on Pretty Little Liars from 2010 to 2017. And he also plays Rory in The Magic of Lemon Drops, which came out this year on Hallmark. And he's actually opposite Lindsay Fonseca in that movie, who we talked about last episode in Holiday Crashers. He also is going to be in Our Little Secret, which comes out on Netflix November 27th. That's the one that is starring Lindsay Lohan. So I'm excited about that as well. So yeah, Kim Matula and Ian Harding are our 2 main characters, but there are also lots of other great characters throughout the movie. There's so many that I really liked. I could have written so many names down. But those are the 2 main ones. I have a couple of notes on this movie. There's one thing that really bothered me throughout the movie, and that is how they kept buttoning Ian Harding's jacket in such a weird way. They had like his scarf tucked in and then they had it buttoned, but it was only the top button of his jacket. So it kind of like flared out a little bit and it made him look really small and awkward. And I don't like how they did that. They should have left it unbuttoned. I don't know. Costume designer, whoever you are, try again.
Yeah, it made it look like the jacket was too small for him or something.
Yes,
I thought it was
exactly.
bizarre, too.
Yeah, it made it look like he had like a pot belly, which he so does not. So it was just, it was weird. Aside from that, the costumes were great. I loved the fashion. I love anytime there's a time jump. So we got to see some of the past of some of the ghost characters. This movie takes place in Hartford, Connecticut, and it was actually filmed in Hartford, Connecticut, which I thought was really cool.
Interesting.
It was filmed at the state capitol. That's where they had their like main office. And then the Bushnell Park Carousel, and then a 1926 home off of Foxcroft Road in West Hartford. And the snow was real. They were going to bring in a snow machine, but it ended up snowing and being the perfect background. And they didn't need to bring in any fake snow, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
This movie has an 86% popcorn meter on Rotten Tomatoes. And I just loved this story. I loved the twist. I loved that there was a little bit of a love story woven in there, but that wasn't like the main thing in this movie. I just loved it. And I will probably watch it every year. So did you guys watch this one?
Yes.
I did. I watched this one. I liked seeing Ezra Fitz in a less serious character. His dad was terrible, just terrible. And I will say I liked the idea of this movie. It was not my favorite. The character of Arlene seemed like she was a little disinterested in being there at all. She's funny. She's a comedian, but
the ghost of Christmas Past. Is that what she was?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I loved her. Yeah. I really liked her character.
I liked that when they're sending, they called them angels out on these missions. The person sending them out was named Charlie. So it was Charlie's angels going out, the three of them together.
Oh, cute. I didn't make that connection.
And there was one part where there was a conflict between, now I can't remember his name. Ezra Fitz is Brian.
Peter Barron.
Oh, Brian. Peter, Brian, whatever. And Catherine says, fine, I'll just go and you can Scrooge yourself. That was, you go Scrooge yourself. There was another terrible song, though. The Deck the Halls of My Heart was an awful song. I don't know why they have to throw in these terrible singers and terrible songs, but
what? I don't know what. Oh, when they brought in the like famous lady to sing at the Christmas party. She is actually a very successful like Broadway star, apparently.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, the song was awful. Didn't do her any justice.
The song was awful.
It kept repeating Deck the Halls of My Heart over and over again. I don't know if they didn't have enough money to write a full song. I don't know. But for me, it was okay. I probably won't watch it again. I'm being a Scrooge this week because there wasn't a lot that I liked. And I thought, okay, were you in a bad mood this week? Were you just tired? Because honestly, I didn't like anything. Other than the ones that I'm going to talk about. So.
Oh, I love this movie. I'm so sad. Fine, Mom.
Okay. So I loved this movie. I watched it twice.
Yay! It's so good.
First of all, you hook me in when he says that his favorite version of Christmas Carol is Scrooge, because same. Loved that. It got me right in the feels when he was like, you never know that something is ending until it's over. It reminded me of that scene towards the end of The Office when Andy Bernard says, how come you don't know that you're in the good old days until they're over? And I was like, oh God, it's so true. You know, it's totally true. So I loved this. His dad was the worst. Business doesn't take holidays. Like, are people actually like that? Like, gross.
I think some people are.
It's just, but I loved the twist. I did not see that coming. And I like it when they have a twist, when there's creativity in the script and it's not predictable. I do like the predictable movies, but it's nice to have that little throw in there. And you don't really know, it's like a will they, won't they type of situation until the movie concludes. You don't really know what's going to transpire. So I liked it. I didn't watch it with my kids, but I think they'll like it too. So we'll have to watch it again. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, Mom, maybe you need to watch it again when you're in a better mood.
Maybe. I was doing laundry. I was stressed. I was starting a new job, all the things. So maybe I need to just
make yourself a cup of peppermint hot chocolate with whipped cream, put some fuzzy socks on, give it another try.
There we go. Yeah. We'll try it again.
Yes. Take some of Bree's hot chocolate tips. And...
yes. Add a little orange spice. I don't know.
Yeah.
My first pick is a classic in my book, and many people do not like this movie.
Really?
Many people love this movie. Yeah, I was reading reviews. It's kind of a mixed bag, but if you like it, you love it. Is what I got from it. It is the 1995 film Ebby, starring Susan Lucci. It's also known as The Miracle at Christmas, Ebby's Story, directed by George Kaczender, written by Paul Redford and Ed Redlich, I'm not sure. Released December 4th, 1995 on Lifetime. And here's a little synopsis. Ebby is a heartwarming 1995 television movie starring Susan Lucci, a modern reimagining of Charles Dickens' classic A Christmas Carol. It tells the story of Elizabeth Ebby Scrooge, a ruthless businesswoman who prioritizes profit over people, mirroring the original Ebenezer Scrooge. She's the CEO of Dobson's Department Store, a once family-friendly business now focused solely on the bottom line. She's cold, demanding, and uncaring towards her employees, customers, and even her own niece. She fires employees before Christmas, cuts charitable donations, and cancels the beloved employee Christmas party, all in the name of efficiency and profit. Thank you, ChatGPT. Which, again, if you use ChatGPT, make sure you read it before you decide to use it for the podcast, because it said she had a nephew, not a niece, like the original. It also said that she was longing for her long-lost love, Jake Marley. That's not true. It was her business associate. So I had to scold ChatGPT and say, no, you're wrong. But I love this movie. Susan Lucci is amazing in it. I think she plays a wonderful Ebenezer, Ebby Scrooge. The Ghost of the Christmas Past, the Cosmetic Girls had these fun costumes. They really just put her in her place. Roberta Cratchit is played by Wendy Crewson, and she's Laura from the Santa Claus. She's great as the long-suffering Roberta assistant to Ebby. Tiny Tim is played by Taryn Noah Smith of Home Improvement. And if there's a place where this movie falls short, I'm sorry, Taryn Noah Smith.
It's a damn song. That's the worst part of this movie.
He's neither tiny nor sick looking, but when he sings Angels We Have Heard on High, it's awesomely terrible.
I love it.
In fact, your dad walks in and is like, what the hell is this? I crack up every time. Most of the reviews were good, as I mentioned, and it's one that I continue to watch year after year. You can stream it on YouTube. I happen to own a copy. I got it years ago, probably on Amazon or some Etsy, eBay site or something. It doesn't show Susan Lucci on the cover at all. It's like this log cabin, and I think it's called The Miracle of Christmas, Ebby's Story. But you would never know what the movie is. So I don't know if it's readily available to purchase now, but you can stream it on YouTube. So have you seen this? I think you both have.
Oh, yes. This movie gives me all the nostalgia. I did rewatch it this week, and this is the one where I watched it on YouTube on my TV, and the quality was terrible, but I've seen it so many times that I could kind of get past that because I knew what it was supposed to look like. So I'm watching it, and it's the YouTube version. So it's got the only 37 days till Christmas or whatever at the bottom of the screen. And because it's recorded from the TV from 1995. And my husband gets home from work and he walks in and he's like, what are you watching? Where did you even find this? I was like, it's on YouTube. He's like, you're watching a movie on YouTube. Like,
don't
you've
come to
never
my
seen
house.
Ebby? This is a classic. Yeah. This is the moment
There's
when I
so many movies.
realized most people haven't seen this movie.
No.
Here I am thinking it's a classic, but it's a Lifetime movie from 1995. But I love this movie. And I don't know, to be honest, if I had never seen it before, if I had just watched it this week for this episode, I probably would be like, what is this crap show of a movie? Why would you ever pick it? But because I grew up watching it and I know all the lines and I know all the characters, it had been several years since I had seen it. So when I was watching it, every time a character came on screen, I was like, oh, yeah. So that was really fun. But I did learn something that I'm a little embarrassed about. I have to tell you, my entire life, I thought that the makeup artists, the ghosts of Christmas past, I thought they were the girls from the B-52s. I don't know why.
What?
I don't know why. I thought
That would have
that's
been
who
great,
that was.
though.
And so when I was typing up my notes for this episode, I'm looking up these characters because I was going to mention that. And then I was like, wait a minute. No, they're not. That's not them. I don't know
They're
why I
incredible.
thought that.
I mean, they're styled like them for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe I just like saw them and I remember seeing like the album cover that you had when I was a kid and I
Uh-huh.
just thought it was
And
the same
beehive
people.
haircuts. Yeah.
Yeah, totally thought it was them. It's not. It's not the B-52.
Well, and honestly, the acting's not great. You know, there's some plot holes, but I think for me too, it's also because I watched it, I think for the first time with my mom, probably while you guys were sleeping or something. I don't know. Maybe you were just playing. And so I started watching it every year. And that was back when you had to wait for a movie to air on TV.
Mhm.
And I would look for it in the TV guide and record it on the VHS. Because I did have a VHS copy of it for a long time that I had copied off the TV. And that's how we watched it over and over again.
Yeah.
So it is that nostalgia that makes you just love it more and more every year. Like you said, if I had sat down and watched it, I would have maybe thought, what is this?
Yeah,
But it
I
brings
can
back
still
fond memories.
Yeah, for sure. I can still see the VHS in my head with your handwriting on it with the white label.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it was one that had multiple Christmas shows on it.
I think so.
Yeah.
That we had taped. And it's so funny, like it doesn't feel like that long ago, but our kids will never know what it's like
No.
to tape a movie, what it's like to punch out the little hole so that nobody can tape over it. And you know, all of this stuff that is so not relevant anymore.
No, there's so many VHS movies that I remember us recording and like remember what's on each one. Like we had that one that was Little Women, and then right after the Little Women was Legends of the Fall. And like if you wanted to watch Legends of the Fall, you had to fast forward through Little Women first.
Yeah.
And hope that the movie wasn't too long and gets cut off at the end of the tape.
Yeah.
Yep. So I did take some notes on this movie because I did rewatch it yesterday, actually. First of all, Luther, who is the security guard, why is he dressed like Inspector Gadget? I don't understand.
Because he's inconspicuous.
He's got a full trench coat inside the store. I mean,
And a
if you're
hat.
security, aren't you supposed to blend in?
Not Luther.
And they have one security guard for the whole store. And when he's not there in 2 seconds, she fires him.
Yeah.
Like,
you are never where you're supposed to be.
This is a department store. You need more people.
Like 3 stories tall.
And then, then we see the ghosts of Christmas past who come to her in human form first in the store and spray the crap out of her face with perfume.
What are you
Happy
doing? Holidays, Miss Scrooge.
Blind your boss?
Yeah, why didn't they get fired?
Yeah, seriously.
Maybe she thought that they'd sell a lot of perfume.
Maybe.
And
it's
then
all about the bottom line.
Then we get to Jacob Marley, and we're going to give him a pass that he's blue. You know, fine. That's fine.
He's been dead a long time.
He's blue. You can't see through him. So I'm not sure if he's a ghost or a real person. Don't know. But who was he talking to on the phone? Is it the devil? Is that?
I think so. It's pretty dark.
Okay. So his boss is the devil. He's talking on a flip phone.
You know, when I read the reviews, I read reviews and it said the consensus is that he's talking to God because he's trying to save her rather than
God is very angry.
That's true.
God is mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he's running out of time.
Yes.
Maybe it's like an assistant. Maybe it's Moses.
Maybe.
Abraham.
Because Ebby's doomed to a life of blue wandering if he doesn't save her. So
no chains in this one. This is the what's that? Oh, was going to make a joke, but now I can't remember her name. So never mind. It's not going to be an effective joke.
Violet Beauregard?
Yes.
The Curse of Violet Beauregard.
Yes. No chains for you. We just turn you blue. Sorry. And then the last thing was, okay, so we have the scene with Francine, who is her sister, and she's clearly pregnant. She's due in 5 weeks. She looks ill. She looks very,
She's
very ill. She cannot get off the couch. Her husband has left to go to work, and now her sister is going to leave her alone too. And I'm like, are you guys insane? What is happening here? And
Take
go to a
her
holiday
the
party.
doctor.
yeah. And so I remember thinking when I was a kid, like, oh, it's not Ebby's fault. But now as an adult, I'm like, yeah, it freaking is. Why did you leave
100%.
her? Like, and then in the hospital, she's hooked up to nothing, and then she just dies. Like,
What is happening? Like, what did she die of?
Where are the nurses? She has no tubes, no nothing.
No one's
No.
trying to save
No
her.
one's around.
No, she's just saying, come back, come back. And I'm like, this is not Titanic. What is happening? Stop.
And they're like, she's like, the baby's fine. I'm like, then where is she? Why aren't you holding her?
Yeah.
You think you're about to die and you're not going to spend your last moments holding your brand new baby?
And where's your husband? He still hasn't
Right.
made it here
Is he
from
still
work.
at work?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Oh gosh. So these are all the things that as an adult, if I pull myself out of the nostalgia, I'm like, wow, okay,
This
interesting.
movie is dumb.
But I will continue to watch it every year.
Absolutely.
I love this
for sure.
movie. And yes, it's a family classic for us, not a societal classic. But
Yes.
if I ever met Susan Lucci, you bet you're behind. This is the first thing I would bring up.
Out of everything you've ever done, it took you,
Emmy.
what was it, like 27 years to finally get an Emmy for Young and the Restless?
Yeah.
Or All My Children. All My Children.
Oh, all my children. Okay.
That's the one she was. No, it's Abby. Abby's the one. That's the pinnacle of her career.
She's like, I don't
I would
remember
ask
that.
her where they got that gorgeous skirt that she wears when she like,
The red
Oh,
one?
the red?
yes, that she wears to the
With the big
holiday
bow?
party and then she
Mm.
turns all cranky Scroogey. And then when she turns nice again, she puts that skirt on. And dang, if you wouldn't know, it still
It
fits.
still fits.
Like
Mhm.
20
She's
years
tiny.
later.
Yeah.
She's so
And
tiny.
She's,
the
I
guy,
think she's about my height.
yeah, she's little.
Like 4'11".
The guy who plays her boyfriend in the movie, he's now playing dads in Hallmark movies. He's all over the
Yes.
Hallmark Channel, which is so
Uh-huh.
funny. But this movie's almost 30 years old. So,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
yeah. And not just dads, but like older dads. Like, you know, a dad of
Grandpas,
a dad of a 50-year-old. Like, it's
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah. Talk about
But
making you feel old.
time flies.
Ooh.
So, anyways, okay.
All right. What's your next pick, Jess?
Oh, my next pick is apparently one that you hated, Mom. So darn. A Christmas Carol, the musical, which is also a Hallmark movie that was released in 2004. And I vaguely recall already having seen this, maybe around the time it came out. But I did not really remember it. It stars a host of big names, which is not common for Hallmark. They don't usually bring in big name actors and actresses for films, but I think this was like a special event for them. It has Kelsey Grammer, Jason Alexander, Jane Krakowski, and Jennifer Love Hewitt, who in my opinion steals the show, even though she's only in 2 scenes. So the synopsis of this movie, Mom disagrees with me in a gigantic way, but I'm going to give you a synopsis
It's
anyways. Ever since that Christmas Eve 7 years ago, when Ebenezer Scrooge buried his longtime friend and business partner, Jacob Marley, Scrooge has developed a deep dislike of mankind. This Christmas Eve, however, Scrooge is visited by the ghost of his old partner, who warns him of the consequences of the suffering he has caused, and it's going to be a musical. There we go.
And his longtime business partner is George Costanza.
See, I don't watch Seinfeld, so I immediately think of the Brandy Cinderella when I see Jason Alexander. That's my first degree of
Especially
separation.
when he's singing. It's like, yeah.
Because he can't sing. Like, he's a very theatrical singer, but he can. So this movie was filmed for 6 weeks in Budapest, Hungary. which we see them do a
Oh.
lot. Hungary is a common choice for filming locations. And I'm going to share a review with you. One of the best Christmas movies ever, in my opinion. Great cast and amazing effects, and truly a marvel to behold for the whole family to enjoy, both the young and the young at heart. I truly believe it's a Christmas miracle we all need, and the music is, with music emojis, great. Awesome job, clapping emoji. Hallmark. I couldn't see anyone else making this great 2004 movie classic. Sincerely, Brian Scott Ferguson of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and a big fan of this great Christmas story.
Was
Wow.
he actually like the writer or the producer of this movie? Did someone pay him? Is this actually
Brian's in
your
charge
review,
of promoting
Jessica,
this
with an
movie.
alter ego?
Guys, I liked this movie.
Okay.
I
Good
love
for
a
you.
musical. Okay, I love a musical. Give me literally
too.
any musical. I love it. And I thought this was great. It was a TV musical, so obviously my expectations were a little bit lower than it would be for like Wicked on Broadway. But I just thought it was joyful. The music was great. I like Kelsey Grammer. I know he's had, been in the press for personal issues, but ignoring that stuff, I really like him.
Mhm.
And yeah, I thought he did a good job. I thought Jennifer Love Hewitt did a good job. And yeah, that's my thoughts. But you guys, I'm interested to hear what you have to say because I think it's going to be bad.
Okay, so
Well,
I will be honest that I didn't actually get through the whole thing. I tried. I put in the old college effort, but I didn't get very far. I felt like this movie is the production that they were working on Scrooged. Okay.
Minus the sexy dancers.
Well, I didn't finish it, so I have to remind
and the
them.
tumbling Tiny Tim.
I did really like the Ghost of Christmas Past. I can't remember her name, but I really like her. She's
Jane
very
Krakowski.
beautiful.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't
Jane
know she
Krakowski.
could sing.
Mhm.
I did really like her. I don't think Kelsey Grammer is a very good singer. And I usually think he's a pretty good actor, but in this role, he felt like, the gym teacher stepped in for the high school production of Scrooge.
Okay, his sideburns were really bad. They were really bad and they were unnecessary.
Yeah.
All the wigs
Yeah.
were terrible.
Yeah.
Just awful.
I mean, Hallmark does not have a good wig track record.
No, they don't. And I, in the scene in the beginning where he's like in the bank and everyone's getting ready for Christmas, it reminded me of the bank in Mary Poppins, with all the guys with the long beards and stuff. I don't
Mhm.
know. I don't know why that reminded me of that, but I just struggled. I struggled and I really wanted to finish it. And then I really didn't want to finish it. So I just didn't. Sorry.
Mhm. Yeah. I had the same experience. I had really high hopes and I turned it on and I was like, oh, I tried to watch this when it first came out. Your dad and I both did. And we turned it off then and I turned it off this week too. Kelsey Grammer, I agree, falls short as Ebenezer. I wasn't buying it. I was seeing Fraser Crane and I was hearing his jingle that he sings on that show. His teeth alternated from rotten looking to clean throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like,
So
I'm not wearing
was
that today.
distracting.
Sorry.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Jane Krakowski, beautiful voice, beautiful actress, but her accent kept falling in and out. So she was British at some points, and then she was English, American, and then British again.
Mhm.
So I was like, what is she doing? The wigs were terrible. I turned it off after about a half hour, and your dad came out and he said, I was wondering how long it was going to take you to turn that off. That sounded terrible. Didn't we see that before? And he was just hearing the music from the other room. And I do remember we turned it on because it was on at night. That was, I think, back when Hallmark was still airing on like ABC. You could watch a Hallmark movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we turned it off after just a few minutes at that point too. So sorry, Jess. I love a good musical, good being the operative word. Um, I just couldn't do it. I wasn't feeling it. And the George
No.
Costanza part too. I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
So
I turned
sorry.
it on and the kids were like, Mom, do we have to watch the rest of this? I was like, no, it's fine. Let's move
Is this one
on.
we're gonna like? This is our Love at the Thanksgiving Parade. You hated that one, and this one just didn't do
Yeah.
it for me.
I found this week to be challenging as far as choosing movies. I found it to be very challenging. I wanted to choose A Diva's Christmas Carol, could not find it anywhere. It's not available
I couldn't either.
anywhere. Not YouTube.
Oh, that's terrible. I've watched it just because John Taylor from Duran Duran is in it.
Oh yeah,
but
I've
it's
seen it. I've
not
seen it multiple
yeah.
times. It's terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
anything with Vanessa Williams is not great because she's not the best actress in the
Mhm.
world, but I like her and I, can get through her movies.
Yeah.
I've been watching Girls Five Eva and she's in that. And
Oh yeah, I've
What?
heard that's good.
Five Eva?
Girls Five Eva is a TV series starring Sarah Bareilles and Busy Phillips and Paula Pell and I forget the fourth gal's name. But anyways, they are a girl group that decides to get back together in their 40s.
Oh my gosh.
And the band is called Girls Five Eva.
That's embarrassing.
And
Five
it
Eva.
is so funny. But Vanessa Williams plays like a ad or a record executive or something in it. So anyways, that was the movie that I really wanted to do. And that's why I ended up picking this one because I don't know if you can even get it on DVD. I have no idea. Although there is a Diva's Christmas Carol 2 that you also can't find anywhere. And it stars Ashanti. So
Really?
never seen it. But,
I've never seen or heard of either of those.
oh, well, you can't watch them. So
Too bad.
There's also one with Henry Winkler, Fonzie, who plays the part of Ebenezer, and the makeup in that is so bad. It's so bad when they age him. Yeah.
I saw
that years
the
years
cover
ago.
for it, but I had already chosen my movies, so it's too
And there's
late.
another one with Carrie Fisher, where she plays a female Scrooge. That one is already.
Yeah, and he talks about that in Ghosts of Christmas Always. He talks about how the Carrie Fisher version is like an underrated version or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. Okay, let's move on from
Danny,
my terrible movie picks.
What's your next pick?
Okay, my second pick this week was A Nashville Christmas Carol. This movie came out on Hallmark in 2020. It is about Vivian, a workaholic television producer who receives a visit from her recently deceased mentor, Marilyn Jinway, who warns her that she needs to change her ways and find her way back to some Christmas spirit. This movie is absolutely country star studded. There are so many celebrity appearances in this film. We have Kix Brooks of Brooks and Dunn. He plays the spirit of Christmas past. Kimberly Williams Paisley plays the spirit of Christmas present. Winona Judd is her deceased mentor, Marilyn Jinway. And then we also get to see Ray Lynn, who is a popular country star. She was on The Voice. She has 2 albums and several singles. She plays Alexis Reinhardt, who is a country star in the movie. And also Sarah Evans, who is well known for many, many, many songs, but Suds in the Bucket and Born to Fly are 2 of her biggest hits. She plays Belinda Manners, who is another country artist in this film. Our lead roles are played by Wes Brown. He plays Gavin Chase. We know him from Biltmore Christmas, the Haul Out the Holly series, and Love on the Danube, which just came out this year.
So
and
good.
Then,
so good.
Is it good? I've
seen all 3 of them.
Oh, I didn't realize there was more than one.
It's a series. Yeah, and it has the gal from the mayor from The Good Witch. She's in all 3.
Oh, I love her.
Oh, yeah.
So highly recommend those
to
movies.
watch it.
Yeah, really cute.
Good to know. Opposite Wes Brown is Jessie Schramm. She plays Vivian. We know her from Time for Them to Come Home for Christmas. She's in Road to Christmas, Mystic Christmas, and tons of other Hallmark movies. I thought this was a fun, cute movie. I probably wouldn't watch it again. It was enjoyable for the first watch through. I don't think that I would watch it again probably because it just wasn't like amazing, but it was fun to watch, especially because of all the like different celebrities that popped up in the movie. Seeing them come through and some of the acting wasn't super, but it was fun to watch. And I love Kimberly Williams Paisley. And so it was really fun to see her in this movie. We've talked before about how her husband, Brad Paisley, is a big fan of Hallmark movies. And so she's always fun to watch, and she did a really good job in this role. So anyway, I really enjoyed it. Did you guys watch this movie?
I did not.
I did.
Jessica, you gotta watch it.
I felt like the plot was all over the place on this one. It was kind of hard for me to follow. The chemistry between Gavin and Vivian was lukewarm at best, I felt. I didn't buy their relationship. I felt like Winona Judd deserved more character development. And I read, you were talking about some of the acting wasn't great. I read a review that said, just because country stars want to act doesn't mean they should. Because, yeah, not all of it was great, but I have to share some of the reviews that I read. This was not my favorite movie. I forced myself, I don't want to say forced myself. I watched all of it.
I
watched the whole thing.
My eyelids open.
Mom is keeping with the Scrooge theme this week.
I am. I apologize. I'm Scrooging it up today, but I wasn't feeling it, and maybe I was just having an off week, and I just was deciding I didn't like anything. I was tired, but some of the reviews that I was able to find were hilarious. Only watch this if you're a Christmas sadist. A very bad story, and Judd did nobody any favors. Why was Wes Brown's face so tan and shiny? It was filmed during COVID. Did the actors have to do their own makeup? And I hope they paid Kimberly Williams Paisley a lot of money to act so stupid.
What? She's a good actress.
Her character was over the top for sure. I don't think she acted stupid, but people did not like this movie, and I didn't dislike it to that degree, but it was just okay for me. I won't watch it again. So
yeah, it wasn't the best movie I've ever seen, that's for sure. But it was a fun little entertaining romp. And I will blame you, Mom, because your second pick was what I was going to choose. So the only reason I picked this is because you stole my movie. So really,
I'm sorry.
Your own fault.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to wrap it up with my final pick, which, again, a lot of people will say it's terrible. It's a classic for me. My dad loves this movie. He will sit and watch a Hallmark movie all by himself once in a while, and he actually is the one that told me about this movie and before I had watched it. So my final pick for movies based on A Christmas Carol is called A Carol Christmas, starring Tori Spelling. So, yeah, that pretty much is all you need to know.
It's got the same plot as all the other movies.
Yeah. It was originally released on the Hallmark Channel, filmed in Los Angeles in September of 2003. Tori Spelling plays Carol Cartman, a cynical and self-absorbed talk show host. She's obsessed with ratings, fame, and her own image, treating her staff poorly and lacking any Christmas spirit. She's even planning a live Christmas Eve special titled Christmas is Canceled, reflecting on her disdain for the holiday. Like Ebenezer Scrooge, Carol is visited by three spirits on Christmas Eve, the first being the ghost of Christmas past, played by Gary Coleman. This spirit takes Carol back to her childhood, revealing how her obsession with fame and success began. We see her being influenced by her demanding Aunt Marla, who instilled in her a cynical view of Christmas and a focus on career over personal relationships. The ghost of Christmas present is played none other than by William Shatner of Star Trek fame. He shows Carol the impact of her actions on those around her, and she sees her hardworking assistant, Roberta Cratchit, struggling to provide for her daughter, Lily, a modern-day Tiny Tim, and her sister, Beth, enjoying a warm family Christmas while missing Carol's presence. And finally, the ghost of Christmas future, played by Diana Manoff, her Aunt Marla, reveals a bleak future where Carol is alone, forgotten, and miserable. She sees her talk show failing, her relationships in ruins, and ultimately her own lonely demise. And according to Chat GPT, this movie is about transformation and redemption. Faced with the consequences of her actions, Carol experiences a change of heart. She really realizes the importance of kindness, compassion, and human connection. And I love this movie in spite of the terrible reviews. I think Tori Spelling does a good job playing the Ebenezer role. She's not the best actress in the world, but she said that she took this role because she wanted a movie that her future children could watch, and it would be a fun family event to watch the movie. And she liked the idea of playing a really kind of a villainous character because she always played kind of a goody-goody. So have you seen this movie?
Yes, I've seen this movie. I did not rewatch it, but I've definitely seen it multiple times. Mm-hmm. I think she's great at playing the villain, the like really snotty villain.
Yes.
Because she has that movie. Is it called The Mistletones? No.
Yes.
It's called The Mistletones.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And she is great in that movie. She plays a snot, just a nasty, nasty person. And she's so good at it. And that's one of my favorite made-for-TV holiday movies. So yeah, I think I like her. I hope that she'll do more holiday movies because I like to see her in them. And I think that even though she's maybe not the most classically trained actress, I think for Hallmark or Lifetime or whatever channel would hire her, it's a draw. People want to see Donna, right? They want to see her. And especially now because it does appear that she's struggling financially. So I'd really love to see her do some more movies. So
we're pulling for you, Tori.
Yeah,
she played a snotty character in Death of a Cheerleader. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Where she is the popular high school cheerleader. I think it's based on a true story where kind of the nerdy girl tries to befriend her and ultimately ends up killing her. Yeah, it's a creepy one, but she does a good job as the snooty popular cheerleader, which, it's sad movie, but she does a good job.
Interesting.
You know, the acting is not great. The Ghost of Christmas Past makeup is abysmal. I don't care. It's classic in my book.
I've seen this movie about 1,000,000 times and I love it. I love this one. I did rewatch it this week and I was watching it with Finley and she goes, "Mom, that girl is really mean." And
she is really mean.
She is. She does a really good job at portraying that meanness. But I thought it was a really cute story. I really like her, the boyfriend. What is his name?
John? Is it John?
I think it is John. I was just trying to think of the actor's name.
Oh, yes. Well, and it's funny in the end when they show her future, how it could be so bleak. And she's like this washed up former child actress and she's going to these terrible public events where, you know, you come and meet so-and-so, the star of whatever. And she drives up in an old beat up car and she's all old and bent over and nobody wants to see her.
Yes.
It's very sad.
Jason Brooks, that's his name.
Okay.
He plays the love interest in this one. And I really like him. And I thought that they had really good chemistry. So yeah, I love this movie. I think it's fun. I think Aunt Marla is terrible, but the actress that plays her does a really good job at that.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
Isn't she Cherry Maraschino from Greece?
Is she? Name? Oh, now that you're saying that.
One of the pink ladies.
Dinah Manoff. Yes. You're right.
Is it?
It says she's in Greece. I'm trying to find her character name. Marty Maraschino.
Oh, Marty Maraschino. Why did I say her name was Cherry Maraschino?
Cherry. I was like, Cherry.
Marty Maraschino, like the cherry is what she says. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's a fun connection. I never realized that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I love this movie. Like I said, in spite of the reviews, I have to share one funny review, though. It says in 2012, Complexes, and that must be an online site. Jason Serafino named the film one of the 15 most ridiculous Hallmark movies of all time, citing the creative decision to cast Shatner and Coleman as the reason for the film's inclusion. The following year, John Brooks of KQED watched A Carol Christmas as one of 8 adaptations of A Christmas Carol, criticizing it as time wasted and stating, remember the average life expectancy in the US is just 692,000 hours, and these 92 minutes shouldn't be spared.
Oh my
I
gosh.
disagree, John of
Yeah.
KQED. I will watch
It's
it
been
over and
more
over
than
again.
92 minutes for me, Guy, because I
Yeah.
watched this movie
Uh-huh.
about 30 times. So,
Yeah. And I'll watch it again this year.
oh my gosh.
So that wraps up our roundup episode of movies based on A Christmas Carol. Jess, would you like to tell us about next week's episode?
Yes. Okay, so next week we are talking about the brand new Hallmark movie Holiday Mismatch, starring Beth Broderick and Caroline Ray, which are Aunt Hilda and Zelda from Sabrina.
Can't wait. That's going to
So
be good.
excited for this.
So I'm very excited about this movie. It has not been released yet as of the date that we're recording this, so I have not seen it yet, but I am stoked because I don't think they've done a film together, and I can't wait to see it.
If
Yeah, that's
there's
gonna
no
be a fun one.
magic, I'm
I
going to be
know.
sad.
Well, thank you for joining us today for our roundup episode. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Love on the Pod and share your episode thoughts or ideas by emailing us at loveonthepod@gmail.com. Plus, you can text us with your future movie recommendations using the link in our show notes. If you love this episode and want to hear more, please subscribe to the podcast as we drop new episodes weekly. We would love to hear your thoughts on the 6 episodes we talked about today. There are mixed reviews, and we'd love to hear yours. So join us next time, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
I almost said love you.